Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. We're together again. Woo!
What am I doing here?
This is the new way we're going to be doing it, man.
Well,
every day you're going to be in this room right here with me, Larson.
Every day that my internet stops working.
Yeah, once again, thanks to Xfinity for bringing this reunion back.
Yeah.
Whenever, if it's during a show, right before a show, usually, actually, really, it's just if it's during a show. Because if it's like before we go live, it's like, who can't, we'll just wait.
We'll wait.
We'll put it off.
But like based on past experience, when your internet has gone down, they'll give you the initial estimate at first, and then an hour later, they'll update it to later in the day. And I don't want to, have to come over here like late in the day when I got stuff to do this afternoon.
Yeah, we got to get these shows out.
And we got to get this done. So let's get it done.
Yeah.
I'll leave the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
And come over here.
The only difference is we're on different sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not. No, usually I'm right here and usually you're right there, I think. Aren't I on the... Usually I'm on the...
No, I'm on this side and you're on that side.
Really? All right, I'll trust you on that one.
I could be wrong.
I think you're probably right about that.
I'm a bit sluggish today. I got a case of the Mondays.
All right, no, you're good. I don't worry about it. I got you covered. Let's go ahead and do this, man. This is Going In Raw, the only wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. It feels like a talk show, so I was going to say talk show.
It does. I don't know whether to look this way or just look straight.
Just you look at me or the camera.
So I'm going to look at myself on your monitor here.
We've been doing this so long. We've been doing this for we've been business partners for 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're good. Going In Raw, the only wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steven Larson. They got to see this whole saga play out. During the pre-show, it's normal. We're in our little boxes.
Yeah.
And then, boom, Larson freezes up. I tried to will you back.
No, you're powerless.
Didn't happen.
Powerless you were.
And then you're like, hey, I'm gonna get some lunch. I'm gonna run some errands. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna write an essay. Then I'm gonna head over.
I'm gonna go shoot 100 threes.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go dominate my wife on the court again. And then I'm gonna head over. And so on today's episode, we're gonna be talking about AEW's Grand Slam Rampage, where 8 matches happened.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking. They had to split it up in 2 episodes for TNT
for DVR purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Sami Zayn in what I consider the segment of the year.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good, and the Bloodline and what's going on with that. We're going to talk about the big white rabbit reveal at 9:23 on Friday.
No, there's a commercial at 9:23 on Friday.
It was huge.
It was a commercial.
But there was a clue. And I liked the clue. And then, of course, we're going to talk about this. We got a little bit of news before we jump into all the recap.
Quite a bit. It's one story, but there's a lot.
It's a big-ass story. So apparently there's going to be a mass exodus from AEW. People are sick and the grass is greener on the other side, Larson. As CM Punk says, it's greener on the other side.
Well, that's not what he said. He said, I'm old and I'm tired and I work with fucking children. So anyways, on Friday's show, when we did our show Friday, I'm not talking about Smackdown or Rampage, Grand Slam, our Friday show.
Going In Raw's Friday
The one
show.
that we talk about news and Impact Wrestling. We talked about also a report from Wrestling Observer with some details on WWE contacting, reaching out, sending feelers to AEW wrestlers. And in that same episode, we talked about Meltzer mentioning that in addition to Malachi Black, there were other AEW talents who requested their release from the company. Well, shortly after we uploaded our episode on Friday, Fightful Select reported that WWE sources had told them that Malachi had expressed to people within the company that, quote, he wished he was still there. Fightful added that Malachi was, quote, effectively done with AEW. And Fightful also had the names of some other AEW wrestlers that WWE had sent feelers to, Dax and Cash, FTR, and Swerve Strickland, and also, quote, an AEW name who had been with the company since the start.
Okay, pause there. Reckless speculation time.
Well, Jericho more or less, and granted, I know he messes with people on Twitter sometimes, but he more or less said that they reached out to him.
He absolutely did.
So,
I kind of get the feeling, though, this might be talking about somebody else. I wonder if they reached out to Hangman Page. It's entirely possible. I think he signed some sort of... Didn't he sign an extension like last year or something?
I don't recall.
Okay. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, the number of people who've been there from the start are kind of limited. I mean, Pac was there.
Yeah, it could be Pac.
I guess from the start.
He has history in WWE and
Best
NXT.
friends were there from the start. If you're looking at the press conferences like their start, which you kind of
and it seems also that they were focusing. WWE were focusing on people who used to be there or had at one time been there and had been released and whatnot. Anyways, let's move on to someone else who was released by WWE and ended up in AEW, Buddy Matthews. Seems as if House of Black, they might be kind of no more, at least for the short term. Buddy Matthews apparently might be stepping away from AEW. Matthews dropped a promo during an appearance at Fight Life Pro Wrestling this weekend, saying, and these transcripts are from Fightful, quote, "Unfortunately tonight, I'm going to be the bearer of some unfortunate news. As everyone knows, the House of Black has had some issues lately. As all the members of the House, I'm speaking for them all. We want to thank you all for being members of the House. Unfortunately, I, like some of our other members, need to go away for a while. I need to recalibrate. I need to figure out some things. As my brother Malachi once said, it isn't goodbye. This is see you later." Fightful Select reported following that promo that sources told them Matthews was either taking a hiatus or was, quote, on his way out of AEW. And the miss spot with Great Muta, which is pretty cool, at a Rampage Grand Slam was a way to write him off television.
So continuing on the most recent Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer himself, discussed Buddy's situation. He said this. These transcripts come to you via WrestlingNews.co. He said he was on a show in Rhode Island last night and said that he needed to step away and recalibrate, and he even mentioned Malachi Black. It was very similar wording to what Malachi Black said when he did that independent show a week or two ago. It's the same situation. How it's being handled and what's going to happen is up in the air, but he's gone for now. Obviously, like Malachi Black, they both wanted to leave and they want to go to WWE. They're both under long-term contracts, and we'll see how this plays out. Now that, right, that you got to... Sometimes Dave Meltzer will sort of assume what somebody wants, like their motivations behind stuff. Like when he says, obviously, they want to go to WWE. Now, that's not uneducated speculation, but it also doesn't sound like they're telling people that that's necessarily what they want.
You mean Buddy and Malachi aren't telling people that's
right?
Yeah.
Because if he's saying obviously they want to go to WWE, well, I can assume that based on, hey, Triple H really liked them.
Yeah.
And if WWE is sending out feelers to them, maybe they're thinking the grass is greener over there for them. Given how House of Black hasn't exactly been pushed to the moon.
Yeah, and also there's been times where Dave will speculate, and people will take that quote and use that as news, as factual news. So, without listening to the full context of this quote, we don't know if it's a situation where he's assuming, based on information he's heard, he's speculating based on information he's heard, and that's, stated otherwise in his discussion about the topic. We don't know.
Yeah. Moving on, according to Wrestling Observer's Ryan Frederick.
This is pretty wild.
Former AEW wrestler Bobby Fish, who made his Impact debut this Friday at Victory Road, which, by the way, congratulations, you're the new Big Red Champion.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Bobby Fish tried to orchestrate an Undisputed Era reunion in WWE. He reported this on the Wrestling Observer message board. I know Fish was trying to get them, Cole and Kyle, to ask for their releases to go back to WWE, and they both told him no. It's possible, he says this is speculation again, so you got to be careful with this. It's possible Cole may have clued Tony in. If he did, I doubt he was the only one. I'm sure Swerve was one of them who did so. Again, speculation in terms of that. But, sometimes where there's smoke, there's a bit of fire.
Yeah.
Also, in light of all these rumors and reports of AEW talent maybe wanting out of their deal, someone on Twitter asked Dave Meltzer if AEW could be facing an exodus of talent, to which Dave responded, looks like a few right now. I don't think a mass exodus, but looks like a few want to go. Tony can legally keep them and not sure how everything will play out. So, dude, this isn't, we've seen dating back years publicly Brody Lee, Mustafa Ali, a couple others, publicly request of WWE, I want out.
Andrade, too, I believe, right?
Andrade,
Yeah.
I want out.
Yeah.
And, famously, WWE, Vince McMahon, under his regime, have either said, yeah, go ahead, or not. I mean, most often it was not.
Well, most often it was not, and then the second most likely scenario was, no, not right now. And they'll wait. Either they'll wait till their contracts expire and just kind of quietly let them go. They'll just wait until it's, they're doing a round of releases and just release them then. But very rarely, when someone under contract with WWE under Vince goes and publicly requests a release, or is it ever granted at the moment?
Right, yeah. And so it will be interesting because we're 3 years deep into AEW. We're over 3 years into AEW territory. And for years now, we've been asked, who do you think, when are people going to want out of AEW and into WWE? We're reaching that time.
Apparently now.
Especially because of the sea change that went down at WWE with Vince McMahon retiring. Yep. Obviously, Triple H is
taking over,
in charge there. And he had his guys. Well, you got people like Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, Andrade, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. Just to name a few. Honestly, you can name a bunch more in AEW. That went to AEW specifically because Vince McMahon was there limiting what they could do.
Yeah.
And so it's not shocking that they would want, at this point, if any of this speculation is true, it wouldn't be surprising in the least. It would not be surprising at all.
And I guess the thing going forward now is to see how AEW reacts, and if they react to release requests differently than WWE has historically speaking. Now, in Fightful's write-up about Malachi and FTR and Swerve being contacted, there's a bit here where it mentions about some higher ups having a mentality of if they want to go, let them. I understand people sign contracts and holding people to those contracts regardless if they're happy or not. But at the same time, you want people to be invested and believe in the vision of your company. And if they don't feel like they are invested in the company, overall, there might be more benefit to your company and letting them go.
Well, from a business standpoint, I mean, look, it's easy to bandy this back and forth between a couple of dudes who just have a wrestling podcast.
Yeah, totally.
But like from a business standpoint, I don't know how I'd handle it because I'm not in that position. But I also understand, okay, maybe let them go, but wouldn't you want some conditions on that? Like, okay, well, I don't know necessarily for the length of the rest of the contract, but at least certainly for, I mean, I don't know, a year, you can't go to WWE because at that point, like, where does it stop? Like, what's the limit on that? It's like, then you're picking and choosing. Okay, well, I'm not going to use you. Like if Danielson, Mox, and Jericho all are like, hey, we want to go back to WWE.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck? I'm not going to have a whole invision angle being run over there.
No, and obviously, that's no way to conduct one's business. Is
contracts would mean nothing.
Exactly. It'd be like the 80s all over again, apparently. Right. No, obviously, I understand the perspective of if you're going to let people out of their deals, there's got to be conditions that apply. Whether there's a certain period of no compete, whether like WWE when they release 90 days typically, or unless you're in NXT that's 30. Whether you give talent the opportunity to buy out the remainder of their deal, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to approach doing it, AEW that is, and what approach if they take an approach to letting people out of their deals. Why they're doing that in relation to what they think is best for business. If it's simply a scenario, well, they're not happy. We don't want to keep people here that aren't happy. Let's just let them go and, say that there's 30-day no compete. Well, if they determine, we know Tony Khan's an analytics guy. If, he runs the numbers and says, well, this is enough time for off TV to maybe blunt whatever impact will be had from them showing up on WWE television, then that's good enough for us. I don't know.
It's like you can release anybody as long as it's not between, January and April.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't want anybody showing up at the Rumble,
and no one for WrestleMania,
and nobody for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you want to be released around SummerSlam season. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
It's SummerSlam. It's kind of
right after SummerSlam, when that lull between SummerSlam and the Rumble.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how this is all approach from AEW side of things, because it's a bit of uncharted waters.
Yeah.
They've obviously let people's contract lapse. I think there's 1 or 2 instances of people who were signed to deals that they let go just because of issues backstage.
Early on, Kylie Ray was let go, and it seemed like she just, hey, I'm going through some.
Well,
personal stuff.
wasn't Sadie Gibbs and B. Priestley? They got like in a fight or something.
Oh yeah. There was some backstage.
There's some backstage, and then they were released from their deals.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the only instance where that's happened as of yet. We still got to see what the fallout is from Scrumgate.
Muffin Mania, Scrumgate, Brawl Out. Yeah.
So it remains to be seen. I don't know if they've ever faced an instance like this where, people, due to unhappiness, wanted to leave.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like we said, it's sort of uncharted waters because we're at that period now with AEW where you can sort of tell, okay, am I going to be used here? Is this going to be the promised land like we thought it was going to be? Plus, there's all of a sudden a much different, element over in WWE. And it's like, I would think that maybe with some exceptions, but dude, I don't know. Even if like, come next year or whenever the Elite's deals are up, I could easily see them being like, hey, you know what? We've always wanted to do WrestleMania. Like, why else would we be in this business if not for WrestleMania? And we've talked often about how, like, well, is AEW, for some, is it going to be like the end all be all? Is it going to be their WWE for people before? Yeah. I think we're still a ways off from that being the case,
Especially now with Triple H running things at WWE. I think people are kind of looking at that as a brand new adventure potentially, even if they were there before, especially people who have history.
Yeah,
with the game, working with him on a creative basis. I think it's going to be a whole new thing.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Larson.
What's that, Steve?
More professional athletes are speaking out about the importance of mental health these days, and we've seen several top stars take time away to tend to their own mental well-being. But pro athletes aren't the only one who need to take care of their mental health. And therapy is the best way for anybody to stay in peak mental shape.
Yeah, I've been there before myself. There was a point in my life about 20 years ago where I was dealing with severe anxiety, and I realized I needed to go to therapy. But back then, finding the right therapist was tough, and it took me a while. But once I found a therapist I felt comfortable talking to, I started gaining the tools necessary to deal with my anxiety. Now, BetterHelp is a great option because it makes that process of finding a therapist much more convenient and accessible. The whole process is done online, so you don't even have to leave your house. And all you got to do to get connected with the therapist is fill out a quick survey. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time.
So when you're ready to feel at the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. Let's talk about Smackdown.
Sure.
Thought it was a super fun show.
It was a fun show.
We're going to talk about some Bloodline stuff here, and Sami Zayn finally getting his full Bloodline entrance. And man, they were playing with my emotions. The Enforcer and I, of course, we did our live watch along. My emotions were already being dealt blow after blow, watching Impact, watching my odds for keeping or for winning back Big Red slip away. Enforcer realizing he is going to be a transitional champion, although I debate that. He said that. I debate that. When you're really good at one event, New Japan, I don't think that's transitional. That's just now it's up to us to beat him at anything New Japan.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, I think the way we do things, it eliminates the idea of transitional champions.
Yeah.
Because it's not like someone is winning our title just for the sake of handing it off to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's not a transitional champion. No way.
We'll talk about that in a second. But of course, the one thing that everybody was waiting for was it was 9/23, the date at 9/23 Eastern during SmackDown, the big reveal of the White Rabbit. Instead, Larson, we went further down the rabbit hole.
Well, it was actually much earlier in the show because there was a QR code behind Hit Row.
That appeared multiple times during the show.
And so if you scan that QR code, I believe it took you to a little mini game. You beat the mini game, and it was a new clue. It was the rabbit with the coordinates for Raw tonight,
correct?
Which is in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And then up by the rabbit, it said patricide.
Patricide, yeah. Which, of course, is a term for killing your parents.
Well, your father.
Your father.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one for your parents in total? thought the whole thing was patricide. What's killing your mother?
I guess that might be matricide.
Is it? Okay.
I believe so. I don't think so. I don't know.
Anybody in chat now?
Yeah. And then people were quick to post an old FCW promo from Bray where he talked about killing his father.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, here was also the thing. We were sitting there eagerly waiting for this. And 9:15, Drew McIntyre shows up. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Apparently, he's battling food poisoning.
Yeah.
Did I dream that? No, that was true.
No, that's the thing. He's been apparently pulled from the road.
I had a weird dream last night that me, Sammy Guevara, my sister,
Sammy Guevara,
and I think Lacey broke up a dogfighting ring.
Interesting.
With extreme violence. We went in there with Uzis.
Wow.
But there was no blood. We shot up everybody, but there was no blood.
That's interesting.
But we brought back 2 dogs.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that. But anyways, Drew McIntyre comes out battling food poisoning. He also has to battle Karrion Kross.
And apparently special effects gone wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's right. The flash paper thing. So Karrion Kross eventually, by the end of the segment, locks him in the jacket. And we're like, oh my God, it's 9:23. It's 9:23. Well, right before they cut to commercial at 9:23, Karrion Kross looks in the camera and says, "You fell for it." That was the line that he used. And he was talking to Drew McIntyre, but he looked into the camera as Drew McIntyre was passed out. And I was like, you fell for it. Oh, shit. Now, under Vince McMahon, I'd say that's looking way too deep into it.
Yeah.
But that's a very specific line for everybody waiting for this moment to be there. You fell for it. Instead, all we got was more clues.
Yeah.
I fucking like that.
Yeah.
And they have to be careful with this, playing with us a little too much, because it'll just be like we're being strung along.
Yeah.
But at Alice in Wonderland, that's all about going deeper and deeper and deeper. And if that's what they're going to do with this, as long as they keep sort of adding interesting layers to it, I'm down for it.
That's the thing, is adding layers as opposed to just stringing it out. If we get another QR code on Raw with some other clue about SmackDown, and not really any more breadcrumbs apart from that, then people are going to be like, eh. And Rage here mentions there was flyers on cars in the parking lot of the venue, under the windshield.
I didn't know that.
With the coordinates for Raw, and then I think they said patricide as well.
So C Squared, I think, has the actual quote, because I think I remember this too. He says, "You fell for it. You gave us what we wanted." And the whole thing was, who killed the world? You did.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if this is Triple H going along with like what actually Bray Wyatt wants to do, like, I'm fucking interested.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You gave us what we wanted.
Because we were waiting for it, and we're like, oh man, they're gonna roll on, aren't they? And then Karrion Kross looked right at the camera and said that, and we're like, oh, there's no way that wasn't.
Yeah, that seemed pretty intentional.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is one of those things where you and I have always wanted there to be that, extra level of depth of storytelling, which we just did not get with Vince McMahon. And sometimes the wrestlers just seem to be the ones that put it in there themselves.
Yeah, but in NXT, I mean, it's easy to reference the Ciampa Gargano feud, where it wasn't just them fighting. I mean, it was. But there was a knee brace that had meaning beyond it just being a knee brace, and a crutch with meaning to it beyond just the crutch. And all of the ingredients to that storyline had meaning behind it. And obviously that's something that's tough to do with every story in wrestling.
Yeah, right.
But if you give us a few of those, with so many storylines going on at once, give us a few of those, man, it's rewarding in the end.
Yeah, and if you have a wrestler who's willing to put in that level of effort into the details, as Triple H, if you're head of all content creation across all the WWE universe, don't you want that?
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
You want somebody like with this inspired shit? Like, then we could put flyers on the cars out there, man.
Yeah,
I'll go to Kinko's. No, I don't think Kinko's exists.
FedEx office, man.
It's Staples, man. I can do it myself. I'll wear a hoodie. Nobody will see me.
I don't even think it's FedEx office anymore. It's just FedEx store.
I think they just turn into
FedEx store.
Yeah. So, anyways,
let's just jump into it.
Yeah, let's hop into it because we got a lot.
There's a lot here. So, show put up with the Bloodline coming to the ring. Roman takes the mic first and tells Salt Lake City to acknowledge me.
So, noticeably, also, of course, I mentioned this earlier. All I wanted was Sami Zayn to have a Roman Reigns entrance. And they have new shirts, and he was the only one wearing the old shirt,
the old Bloodline shirt,
looking like a scrub.
All the other members had the We Are the One shirt.
Right.
The new ones, brand new ones. He had the old ones. So he hands the mic back to Paul Heyman. Heyman says, "Wonder." He just kind of starts kind of riffing on, what do you call people from Utah?
Yeah.
And
Salt Lake Cityites.
Yeah, that's what he came up with. So he says there's a lot of items on our checklist. One, as you noticed, and still undisputed champion, Roman. And he says, I can hear people saying it was Drew's time. It was his home turf. Wrong answer, because neither Cardiff or Scotland or any place on this planet is Drew's turf. The entire universe, multiverse, metaverse, all of it belongs to Roman. So he continues, now that Drew has another bridge to cross. Let's talk about Solo. He says, how I wish I could brag that it was my brilliant move to bring him to the bloodline, but it wasn't, and it wasn't Roman's idea. And he kind of infers that Sammy was trying to take credit for it. He says, the idea for Solo is that Solo was sent by the elders of the Samoan dynasty. He was sent because Brock took out the wise man. The Usos have enough on their plate. And someone has to stop these conspiracies against the head of the table. If you thought the bloodline were unstoppable before, now there is an enforcer.
Yeah.
To ensure Roman's reign.
And I love that, because I texted this to you after you saw the Sammy segment. I love that every character in the bloodline has their own function, their own individual motivations. It's not like the Usos, just two guys who are exactly the same. Yeah. They are on completely different pages.
Yeah, which it was really showed in this whole segment.
Yeah.
So he says this opens up Jimmy and Jay to concentrate on their own pursuit of immortality. Jimmy says tonight it's the Usos against Brawling Brutes, and he guarantees you're going to hear it again, still undisputed tag champs. And then Jay says, because you're the twos and we're the ones. And then Roman's like, give me the mic.
Yeah.
And then Roman tells Solo the elders may have sent him, but Solo, you answer to me now. Acknowledge me.
So Solo takes the mic. He looks right Roman in the eyes, acknowledges him as the tribal chief. Roman gives him a hug. Roman's music plays. But then Sammy, and we're like, no, Sammy, can't you it's an anxiety attack every time. But Sammy has to be Sammy.
Yep.
So he asks them to cut the music. He says, I know that I'm not technically blood, but I just want to say the way you guys have taken me in, treated me like that. He says, I wanted to show my gratitude and publicly acknowledge the tribal chief. And then Roman says, Sammy, what are you doing? I like you, but what are you out here talking for right now? He says, why are you saying anything right now? It's like, I get it. I've been seeing what's happening. You tagging along with us, hanging out with us, trying to get in here. But why do you have a bloodline shirt on? What's going on here? What do you want? Sammy's like, I don't know. And he says, I'll tell you what you want. I want you to take that shirt off. And before Roman can tell Jay,
I love Jay,
to get that shirt off him, Jay jumped.
I love Jay in the segment so much.
He was ready for this moment.
He was yelling at Sammy, take the shirt off.
Yeah.
Take that shirt off.
Yeah, as soon as he knew this was happening, he was on it. And he viciously rips the shirt.
Jay was great. Jay had me several moments cracking up.
So he rips that shirt off. And Sammy gets back on the mic. He's like, and we're all devastated, by the way. We're watching this live. We're devastated. Yeah. And he says, Roman, I don't know if you're kidding or not, but I don't know if this is about what happened with Logan last week. He says, I can explain, though. Just please don't make any rash decisions. And he says, last week when you disrespected the wise man, I'm not going to tell you again. Take the shirt off. That's when Jay rips it off.
The whole time Jay's like, take that shirt off.
He's frothing. He's frothing.
Yeah. He was great.
And he does. And Roman says, see, this is what I'm talking about. He says, you need to listen for once. He says, I don't want to see you in that shirt ever again. You're never going to wear a bloodline shirt ever again. You're never going to wear it again because I got you a new one. And he throws Sammy a shirt. Larson, it reads honorary Oos.
Well, it has his initials. It has SK.
Yeah.
And then underneath of it in huge letters, yes, honorary Oos.
Oh, man. He puts it on, and the camera makes sure to go to Jay in close-up, and he is fucking wrecked.
Yeah, he's devastated.
He is dead. So absolutely dead.
Jay was so good in this. So, yeah, Sammy puts it on. He goes and dabs up, does his handshake with Jimmy, hugs Solo. He kind of like, hey, Jay.
Yeah.
And then Heyman throws him a mic. And Sammy says, I acknowledge Roman as my tribal chief. And he goes and gives Roman a hug. And at first, Roman's like, all right.
And then what does he do? And then he embraces
him. Pats him on the back.
The fucking delivery, though, on Sammy acknowledging him was like he wanted to cry. This was the most emotion. This is like the birth of a child.
Yeah. It's like wedding day.
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. And he goes and he hugs him. And at first, Roman's like, what? Come on. And then he embraces him back.
And Jay is so pissed.
Oh, my God. This fucking segment had me going through so many emotions. It was fucking beautiful.
It was great.
I loved it.
It was great. First match of the evening was Liv Morgan versus Lacey Evans. Commentary is really pushing the idea that Liv is really nice, perhaps too nice.
Yeah.
And could she get violent enough to beat Ronda Rousey? Throughout this match, Lacey Evans was yelling at Liv, "You're not extreme. You're not extreme enough." And then at one point, Liv says, "Oh yeah." So Lacey gets a kendo stick, brings it into the ring, takes a swing at Liv. She ducks, hits Lacey with Code Breaker, and then follows with Oblivion to get the win. That's when Liv picks up the kendo stick and then drops it. She can't do it at first. Then she picks it up again and starts unloading on Lacey with that kendo stick. Hits her with a leg sweep against the barricade. Then she pulls out a table. Puts Lacey on it. Climbs atop the ring post and hits a senton off there.
That shit was nuts.
That was crazy.
And the camera angle on that when she landed was great because it was really low. And she hits it and then just gets in just like this primal scream comes from out of her.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely wonderful.
It was great. It was actually, this is probably Liv's best segment
ever.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, and because, dude, honestly, with Liv, it's like Triple H was sort of brought into the situation with, honestly, Liv has been such a clean slate for so long. There's never been any character development, pretty much.
Other than Watch Me.
Yeah, exactly. Live through this or whatever her shit was, which is like it's like they try to come up with T-shirts before they come up with a character thing
or a theme song.
And it's like and it's like finally, okay, what's gonna be her thing? Is it gonna be her unlocking this vicious side so we can fucking believe that she can beat somebody like Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, no.
Evidently, that's what it's gonna be. And in any event, I'm interested to see where it goes. Afterwards, Hit Row's backstage hosting the VIP watch party. Adonis asked Top Dollar and B-Fab who they got in a tag title match. Top Dollar says, or in the tag title match happening tonight, Braun Brutes versus Usos. Top Dollar says, whoever wins, we got next. They're about to pour some champagne. The Street Profits join in. They talk Braun versus Otis, and then Nakamura shows up. Seems like a pretty lit party, Larson.
It does. Later, Drew Gulak was there, so you know it's a real party.
Exactly.
Then we're backstage. Sammy is talking to someone from catering, I would assume, or from craft service backstage, and is asking, as a member, as an honorary Oos, how can I not get a vegan meal?
Yeah.
And so he walks into Moss and Ricochet, and Moss says to Sammy, wow, you've really changed.
Jealousy dripping off these guys, by the way.
And says, Ricochet says, it used to be obnoxious and unbearable, but... And then Moss says, well, you still are, but just on a whole nother level. And that's what happens when you shove your head all the way up. And Sammy cuts him off and says, if you want to disrespect me, that's fine. But it's just not me anymore. When you disrespect me, you're disrespecting the entire bloodline. So Ricochet says, Sammy, you might be considered an honorary Oos, but everyone around here knows that you're a certified.
And then Solo comes in like a fucking truck.
Tackles him.
And annihilates both of them. And he's just laying into them. Sammy has to peel him off, be like, it's okay. I was about to do that myself.
They understand now, yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, you guys understand now? This was fucking great. Did not see Solo coming in and just annihilating him.
Wrecking everything.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty great. After that, we had a really well put together Usos video package. They really tried to hype up the match on Friday night, the main event. After that, we had the New Day versus Max Male Models. This was most notable for the beginnings of the return of LA Knight, Larson.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Maximum Male Models lose because Maxine is more focused on taking pictures of Mansois and Mosse rather than have them win the match.
Which, they're models.
Yeah.
They're like, that's.
But there's a time and a place to shoot photos and a time and place to win the match, I guess. True. So anyways, Woods rolls up Mansois with backwoods to get the win. And then, Max Dupree just starts laying into everybody, just chewing them all out.
Yeah.
He takes off his jacket, starts smacking against the apron, and then walks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are acting like a bunch of dummies. Yeah.
Time for LA Knight.
Oh, yeah. Back to Hit Row's watch party. Drew Gulak shows up. And Adonis and Hit Row are like, what is this guy doing here? And B-Fab's like, no, it's okay. He's cool. Natalia's there. Los Lotharios walk in. They try to chat up B-Fab because there's like only 2 ladies there. The fucking sausage party, man. Top Doll and Ashanti. They're like, scram, nerds.
Yeah.
After that, we have Braun Strowman versus Otis. I'm like, that's a lame party. Braun Strowman versus Otis. There's some fun stuff going on here.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah, Otis and Braun were really going at it. In the end, though, Otis looking for a splash. Braun evades that, hits Otis with a power bomb, and gets the win here.
Yeah, it was a really well booked strongman match. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then we got a Brawling Brutes interview. So Butch says it's fight night. They all 3 of them start chanting fight night, fight night. So Rich says tonight they're going to win the Undisputed Tag titles. Sheamus says, as far as we're concerned, the Bloodline are facing an uphill battle because we love a good fight. Just ask Gunther, and in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be Sheamus versus Gunther 2 for the IC title. And he says, I'm going to drag that Intercontinental Championship out of the cold, dead hands of Gunther. But tonight, it's not about me. It's about Butch and Ridge winning the tag titles because people know that when the Brutes step in the ring, they're going to get banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger, and they just keep on going.
After that, we had a Drew McIntyre promo. He says, after all these years, people should know that I don't like playing games. And if you have an issue with me, step in the ring. We can figure it out. He says, it seems that Cross never got that memo. He says he loves playing games. He'd rather jump me from behind with no repercussions. He says, but I went straight to the top. And good news, Cross is going to have his first big match at Extreme Rules against Drew McIntyre. He says, but it's not an ordinary match. And the whole time he's carrying a strap, so you know what the fuck it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. He just unfurls it, and you're like, oh, strap match. Okay.
Yeah, strap match. Okay. Because at first I was like, why does he have his belt there? And then I found out he had food poisoning.
That makes sense.
Emergency diarrhea.
Yeah.
Somebody call the gameskeeper. It's going to be a mess.
Bring the shovel.
Bring the shovel. He says, a match designed for maximum pain. A strap match. And then Cross makes his whole Ballyhoo entrance. And you notice, like, it's funny because we even noticed when Scarlett comes out, her hands were like this.
Yeah.
And one of them looked like a fake hand.
Oh, that's weird.
And we're like, what's going on with that? And then we find out that it's like, it's not a fake hand, but it's like strapped to the thing.
It's like the little
cannon. It might have actually been a fake hand now that I think about it, so that it didn't like burn her hand off or something.
That could be.
So anyways.
It's like some SNL stuff.
Yeah, exactly. With like the vomit. Yeah. So anyways, Cross makes his entrance, shows up behind Drew. They brawl. Drew sends Cross into the post, puts the strap on Cross, puts the other end on his own wrist. He wants that match now. Mm-hmm. He boots Cross, smacks him in the back with a strap, and then again, Cross tries to get out of there. Drew pulls him back into the ring, hits a clothesline on him. Cross crawls into the corner. Scarlett gets in the ring, though, in front of Cross, so that Drew can't get at him, and then shoots a fireball at Drew. Now, apparently, according to Fightful Select, obviously this was supposed to be a bit more dramatic and in his face.
Yeah, it kind of like brushed the top of his head. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so they had to improv this next bit. The bottom line is, by the end of this, Cross had on the cross jacket on Drew, and he's yelling, "I'll see you at Extreme Rules." He says, "This is what you all wanted, and you fell for it." Mm-hmm. Or we got, or whatever
the quote was. Yeah. Then we got Dakota Kai versus Raquel Rodriguez. So obviously Damage Control was interfering quite a bit in this bout. Eventually, though, Shotzi makes her way to ringside. She takes out Bayley. Io comes over to help. Shotzi takes her out too. This leads to Dakota getting distracted. Raquel rolls her up to get the win. So then Bayley and Io throw Shotzi into the barricade. Damage Control attack Raquel, but then Shotzi just gets back in the ring to make the save. So it looks like we're getting a new tag team, this time Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez.
No more Aaliyah. Now it's Shotzi. They're going to have maybe a tank. Maybe Raquel can get some more punk-inspired, horror-inspired stuff like Shotzi, perhaps.
Maybe.
Instead of looking like a supplement saleswoman. Back to Hit Row's watch party. B-Fab says, I told the Lotharios to stay out because they come back and then they super kick Ashanti and Top Dollar.
Yep.
Terrible party. It's
Yeah.
like it's a party when you and Ilm almost got to it.
I don't think that ever happened, though. But then we got our main event, Brawling Brutes. Were Hilton and I Brawling Brutes that night?
Oh, dude, you're about to be. I was deep down. I was like, man, I wonder if I could play some quick bets.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You're ready to put some, not just channel
Step
points.
right, Ed, get this action. Get this action.
Some real money. So, Brawling Brutes versus Usos for the tag titles. This match was a lot of fun. Throughout the match, Jay is just constantly giving Sammy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sammy's, and I guess to a degree in Jay's defense, Sammy is being like hypercritical of Jay especially.
Oh, yeah, this is
throughout. So
yeah.
their dynamic is a lot of fun. The finish saw Sammy get a chair to bring over to the ring. Sheamus takes it away from him. Then Imperium comes to ringside to attack Sheamus. This brings Ridge and Butch out to the floor to help. The Usos super kick him and then hit Butch with a 1D to get the win and retain the tag titles.
Got that right. We also had, hell of a match. We had Grand Slam Rampage, and it had like a lot of matches. A lot of stuff was going down here. Yeah, because it was like a
2 shows.
Double-sized episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was plenty of... I mean, obviously, this is like sort of pay-per-view level stuff here for the most part. A lot of story movement. We had... I guess this would be the blow-off between Starks and Hobbs. You think they're going to go another round here? It was lights out. You think it'd be a blow-off?
Well, I mean, it's 1-1.
Yeah.
So, maybe. They might go another one. I wouldn't be surprised if they go another one.
Yeah. And then we have the Golden Ticket Battle Royal. We have our winner, Hangman Adam Page. I kind of figured once I saw him on the graphic, unless a bunch of people were going to take him out, this would be the situation. I really hope, because he's going to be taking on Mox
on the 18th.
Is it the 18th? That's the Cincinnati one.
It's a Cincinnati show, yeah.
I really hope they give us some
sorry.
story to build to this. I mean, obviously he doesn't have to get to the point where he's going to have this match. The match is happening. But when he came out, I was just thinking to myself, man, they've done such a disservice to Hangman Page since he lost the title. Like, he's just done nothing, and this is just going to be Mox beating him, I guess. I mean, is there any chance MJF cashes in Cincinnati?
Oh, it's entirely possible. Imagine the heat.
Oh my god.
Of MJF
So
winning the
heat.
title from Mox in Mox's hometown, and then Mox can get some time off and then have a rematch at Full Gear or something like that.
Hey, I want to point this out real quick. EW here in the chat brings this up too. At the end of that main event, Sammy walked over Jay to go check on Jimmy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was great.
That's so much. Those little details were fantastic.
They are. Let's dive into it. Kicked off with where am I?
House of Black taking on Darby Allin and Sting.
Probably the last House of Black match we see for a while.
Yeah, it seems like it. Although Brody King made it clear on Twitter he used the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving.
I ain't fucking leaving.
It seemed to indicate that he's sticking around AEW. Scary table spot for Julia Hart. Apparently she's all right.
Yeah.
That looked like it sucked.
She missed, there was one chunk of table that sort of just dissipated.
And otherwise she kind of slid off the table and kind of just hit the concrete. And happy to hear she's fine because that looked like it really sucked.
Talking about the stuff that looked like it really sucked, a lot of what Sting did.
Yeah.
That table spot for him was rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't expect to see that from Sting, but
that's Sting's like a hardcore icon in AEW now. So
sort of having like a Terry Funk resurgence,
seemingly,
right?
Seemingly, next he's gonna bring out the branding iron or something.
Yeah, they're gonna have one of those flaming matches.
Yeah, the C4 on the ring and stuff. So at one point, Julia handcuffs Sting, and so Brody and Buddy then isolate Darby up on the stage. This leads to Darby kind of flinging himself and Brody off the stage. Threw some tables on the floor and looked like it busted Darby up a little bit.
Yeah.
So Buddy grabs Sting's bat. He and Julia walk back towards the ring. So Buddy then sets up a chair in the ring, puts Sting on it. And Sting is just laughing at Buddy.
Oh, so you were thinking Joker Sting confirmed.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So then Buddy starts to take a swing with the bat. Lights go down. Great Muda.
Oh, yeah.
One of Sting's great rivals in the WCW days comes to the ring to make the save. At first, Buddy steps away from Sting, and Muda approaches Sting like maybe he's going to do something to him, but instead, Muda turns around, hits Buddy with an awesome dragon screw.
Crisp.
Miss him.
Yeah.
So then Buddy tumbles backwards and knocks Julia off the apron, sends her through the table, kind of, more like off the table. And then Sting just breaks out of the cuffs, hits Buddy with a Scorpion Death Drop to get the win afterwards. Sting and Muta have a nice moment, shake hands, hug, and apparently Sting is going to be involved in Muta's farewell tour.
I think it's happening in Noah. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
That is so flippin' cool.
It's really cool.
After that, we had Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange, entertainers. Jericho Entertainment Society, Appreciation Society, entertainers versus Hook and Action Bronson. Action Bronson was pretty fun in this, man.
Yeah, he was.
He looked pretty good. It was funny because he would do a whole sequence, and then he got, when he tagged Hook in, I'd keep my eye on Action Bronson. I'm like, oh, he looks like Steve right there. Just winded.
Oh, but he looked
Pro wrestling seems fucking difficult, man.
Yeah, I believe it tasks your cardio.
The stamina is something else you got to have, and it looked like he was getting in on some of that action. But yeah, he looked great.
Yeah, he did look really good. He did look really good.
New number one in the power ranks for most comfortable clothing.
Cut off t-shirt and shorts.
Absolutely. My God, he looked so comfy.
He did look comfy enough. Got the win. Both he and Hook put red rums on Parker and Menard respectively. They both tap. We kind of knew the outcome of this match going into it, but it was still fun. It was fun.
Another one we knew the outcome to.
Oh yeah.
Josh Woods and Tony Nese versus Samoa Joe and Wardlow. The only question really was how many power bombs was Sterling going to get, because we knew that he was going to be the guy eating a lot of them.
Yeah.
So he had a promo to kick this off. Says Wardlow's not going to power bomb me tonight. Thanks to my athletes, we're going to make it quick. We're going to make quick work of Ward Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't at all.
What do you like better if they're going to remain a team? Ward Joe or Samoa Low?
Oh, Ward Joe.
I like Samoa Low better.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
Hey, I was thinking about this during the golden ticket thing.
Huh.
Because I noticed what's his face is in there. The guy who the Ring of Honor 6-man guy.
Oh, Dalton Castle.
Yes, thank you, Dalton Castle.
Yeah.
I love Dalton Castle.
Yeah, he's great.
I don't remember his name, but I love him. And I was thinking to myself, you know what they should do? They should just kayfabe Ring of Honor results.
That's good.
Just say, on September 26th at the Ring of Honor Arena.
There you go.
Dalton Castle and the boys beat, I don't know, name 3 guys, Rhett Titus.
Yeah.
And 2 other guys, Vinny and 2 other guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And then just kayfabe the results.
That's how they crowned the first Intercontinental Champion.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they do that stuff.
They did that stuff. They don't do that anymore, though.
They should. Do that with the Ring of Honor. Why not? Act like stuff's happening.
What they should do until they get a TV deal is set up a Ring of Honor E-Fed. At least that way there's matches happening.
Hey, we could do that.
We could do that.
I don't want to see this poll, Maggie, because I know people are going to be like, look at 69% prefer Ward Joe. Trust me, Samoa Low is better. I don't care what people say.
I had not heard Samoa Low until I sat down here right now, until you mentioned it.
Now you love it.
No, I don't. Samoa Low, Ward Joe win, and then Sterling 8-3 power bombs.
Yep.
If my count is right, we got a quick Jungle Boy video package, and then he took on Rey Fenix in a really fun bout. They gave a ton of time. Jungle Boy reverses Rey Fenix's finish into a roll-up to get the win. Then Christian walks out on stage. Luchasaurus tries to attack Jungle Boy from behind. Stead fends him off for a little bit. Then Luchasaurus hits him with a headbutt, almost said Warjo. And then kind of like a burning hammer type deal, Christian walks down the ring. It says, I don't know what I tried to type there.
He says something.
Oh, New York City. New York City always makes me smile. You're loud, obnoxious, but that's all that you are. So sit down and do nothing like the bitches that you are so I can do my business. It says, speaking of bitches, Jungle Boy, you had jumped me like a coward and injured my arm before All Out, but I still beat you and I made it look easy. I squashed you. Get it through your head. You're never going to one-up me. You're never going to outsmart me, and you're sure as hell it will never beat me. This is your final warning. You injured my arm. You injured my right arm, so I introduced you to the right-handed destruction. That's Luchasaurus. Do not come back next week. I only wish that your mom and your sister were sitting ringside to witness this one last time. He tells Luchasaurus, end him. And Luchasaurus hits Jungle Boy with a chokeslam.
Yep. So that's still going.
Yeah.
Then we had a Chris Jericho interview. This was awesome. Daniel Garcia, this is like one of my favorite stories in AEW right now, just because of how good Daniel Garcia is. I love that Chris Jericho is referring to himself as the Ocho. He's referring to himself as the most honorable man.
I know. And it's like, what kind of wrestler would low blow somebody? There's no honor in that.
He says, I'm the king of honor. He says, there's no more honorable man than Chris Jericho. And next week in Philadelphia, we're going to have the Jericho Appreciation Society Championship celebration. And Garcia's there, and everybody else is having a good time. Garcia looks so worried he looks miserable. And he's like, Chris, I got to tell you something. He's like, oh, don't be a downer. Tell it to me next week. He says, we're going to go out on the town. And so Garcia never gets to tell Chris Jericho what he wants to tell him. What does he want to tell him?
Probably something along the lines that you, in fact, have no honor, Chris Jericho, because you won via low blow.
It's going to be that sort of cut and dry. I think he's just going to want to take some time away from Jericho Appreciation Society. Because I think he knows that he's not going to be able to get through to Jericho.
It's because Jericho does not have honor.
No, he is not the king of honor.
Nope.
But he is the Ocho.
Yes. He's got a new shirt that says that with the Blade Runner font.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we had Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara. So Sammy Guevara's got a new Dragon Ball Z inspired
Tron.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, it looks like they put effort into it.
It does. So Sammy grabs a mic after he, does a bunch of making out with Ty up on the stage. Lots of tongue action there.
Yeah.
And he tells Eddie, from the bottom of my heart. So we all know that, it was reported backstage. They were talking about how when this rivalry is supposed to be at All Out.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it sort of got put off because there was some legit backstage heat.
Yes.
Between these two, because during the promo situation,
which never actually made it on air either. Sammy Guevara referred to Eddie Kingston as a fat piece of shit. And Eddie Kingston was like, I don't know if you should say that, because then nobody would believe a fat piece of shit could beat Sammy Guevara. Yeah.
Now, I actually disagree with that. I love that idea because it's like, number one, Eddie won here.
Yeah.
Well, they reversed it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Part of Eddie's whole story has been his whole thing with Punk. You're out of shape. You can't last past 10 minutes.
With Danielson, too.
Yeah.
That's been an ongoing thing.
I mean, he's talked about, the Reese's Pie.
Yeah.
Being in catering.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's out of pocket for Sammy to be like, hey, you're a fat piece of shit. I still believe that Eddie could beat him.
Yeah, it might just be a situation where it wasn't a thing that they had discussed in advance.
Maybe Eddie was just like, I don't mind somebody saying that, but not coming from you.
That could be it, too.
That could be. So anyways, they address that. Sammy gets on the mic, says, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry I wasn't man enough to tell you this before. I'm sorry that you're a fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then Eddie goes right after
Sammy. Goes right after him.
Yeah.
It was. This match was a lot of fun. There was some controversy over the ending. So Eddie hits Sammy with 3 back fists and then puts on the stretch plum. So Sammy taps, but Eddie's not releasing the hold. He's just looking at the ref going, nope, not going to do it. So Jerry Lynn comes to the ring and he implores Eddie to let go.
Please let go.
Not going to do it. Not doing it.
Letting go.
Not doing it. So security comes to the ring. And then the senior referee, Paul Turner, who Tony Khan had admonished on Twitter for not being stricter with the rules, tells Justin Roberts that he, as senior official, is overriding the decision. Mm-hmm. Sammy is now your winner. And then Eddie gets mad and lays out security.
Is this the definition of a dusty finish? Isn't it like it gets the thing and then a ref reverses it?
I think that's a way. There's a loophole that they find, so the bad guy wins.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? You like that finish?
Oh, I mean, we don't see it very often anymore. Mm-mm. But I remember, in the past that happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a way to prolong the feud, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't dislike it, but I also don't like it. I'm fairly indifferent. I mean, if the idea is Eddie can still kick his ass, then I guess that's sort of what matters. And Eddie still won, kind of. Right. Just in the record book, Sammy wins. So I don't know. I guess, indifferent is a good way to put it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yep. I guess it's going to keep their feud going. I hope backstage they're cool. That's all I want to know. I want to know they're on good terms. Well, I mean, at least professional. They're on good professional terms. Like to think they're hanging out, playing some video games. If they're out backstage sharing some... Come on, Sammy, hang out with me. Come on, have some Reese's Pie. Come on, have some Reese's Pie with me. Let's go play some video games. Anyways, then we got Diamante versus Jade Cargill for the TBS title. Diamante put up a good fight against Jade. Had a decent match in the end, though. I believe it's a pump kick. No, sorry.
Jade catches Diamante when she's trying to do a crossbody off the apron to the floor, hits an F5 on the ring apron, then puts her in the ring, and then hits Jaded.
Yeah.
And then Trina, who walked out with Diamante, gets in the ring, helps Diamante up, and then Trina slaps her and shakes hands with Jade.
Yeesh. Yeah, that was a bad day of the office there for Diamante.
Yep.
After that, we had a golden ticket battle royal. See, and another thing that got me thinking about this is because they were talking about Brian Cage. He's part of the embassy in Ring of Honor. I'm like, still? But yeah, they haven't done anything.
No.
So yeah, everything's like on hiatus.
EFED, I'm telling you.
EFED it or just kayfabe it?
Not EFED. If you kayfabe it, people are like, this is stupid. This isn't 1960s anymore. You shouldn't.
And they wouldn't do that if it's an EFED?
No, because there's actual matches.
And it's safer.
It is safer.
It's safer than having real matches.
Yeah, it is because
they're digital people.
It's in a computer.
They have no rights, those digital people.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, so yeah, this is a battle royal where a lot of people just did a lot of stuff. Hangman Page won after him and Roosh.
Yeah.
God damn, Roosh almost dumped him on his head though.
Mm-hmm.
When they went over the top rope to the apron, that was rough.
Yeah. So Page won. He had a dead eye on Roosh on the apron, and the Roosh tumbles to the floor. So he gets a title shot in 3 weeks' time, roughly.
Yeah.
Then we got our customary pre-main event interview with Hobbs and Starks. Hobbs says it's about time. Starks showed up. Says this is the Starks that fought Darby and Sting, but it's the same Starks that I beat in 4 minutes and 35 seconds tonight. Not a damn thing is going to change.
Yeah.
And then Starks says, no, I never left. You beat me in 4 minutes. I admit that, but I can also admit I'm better than a 4-minute match. It won't happen again. He says, you winning at All Out was a career highlight for you, Hobbs, but the highlight of tonight is going to be me. I'm going to close the book of Hobbs and make sure I put out Hobbs' lights out once and for all.
How'd you like that Ricky Starks short film?
Oh, amazing.
Wasn't it beautiful?
Gosh.
It was beautiful. So yeah, we had a new one of those, and then they do the cheesy Futuretron. Dun, dun, dun. But it was lit really cool.
I did like the transition from the short film to him on the ramp.
Yeah.
That was good.
It seems like there's a lot of sort of attention to detail.
There's a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah. So anyways, this is fun stuff. Hobbs just busting out chairs, tables, kendos, stuff. In the end, he ends up eating a spear through a table. Mm-hmm. But no, this was good stuff.
Well, that Rochambeau that Starks did, that was impressive.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah, it was.
And so towards the finish, Hobbs goes up. They're up by the ramp, and Hobbs goes in the tunnel and rips off a piece of the LED lighting.
Literal lights out match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he takes a swing at Starks with it. Starks evades. That's when he spears him through the table, and then he gets that chunk of light. Spears does.
Yeah.
And blasts Hobbs in the head with it.
Whoop.
And then Rochambeau to get the win.
Yeah, that's right. Really quickly, we've got some Victory Road results. On the road to Bound for Glory is a Victory Road.
Mm-hmm.
Bullet Club. Wait, what the fuck?
Who was it?
Oh, it was kickoff.
That was the kickoff show match.
Who was it? Bay, Ace Austin, and who?
And it was Bay.
Who
it
else
was
in
Ace.
Bullet Club in Impact? It wasn't a Good Brother.
Was it Hikuleo? Maybe it was Hikuleo. Although apparently he's not in Bullet Club anymore.
I know. I saw he turned on. Yeah, it's
Juice.
J1.
Juice.
Oh, it was Juice. Really?
Yeah,
Juice showed up.
He's facing Mox on Dynamite.
Oh, that's right.
So Bullet Club defeated Jack Price, Jason Hotch, and Shogun.
Who are those people?
I didn't watch it.
Wow.
I had a soccer game to go to.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we had football. We had Tasha Steelz defeated Killer Kelly, but it was by DQ because it was one of those things where Killer Kelly just beat the shit out of her too much.
Yeah.
She got DQ. Well, no, she actually put hands on a ref, so.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. We had, not shockingly, Mike Bailey defeating Delirious.
Mm-hmm.
The Motor City Machine Guns, throw them up. Defeated PCO and Vincent. How do you like PCO's? Did you watch this?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch any of it.
PCO he had a dress outfit on.
Oh, really?
He's trying to fit in with I don't know more a bit more, so he wore like a business suit.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty funny. It's like sleeveless.
That's funny.
Mickey James defeated Giselle Shaw. Not shocking there. This is kind of surprising.
Yeah, this was surprising.
Kazarian
This was surprising.
won the triple threat revolver match to earn that X Division title.
I would have
shot.
thought it'd been Kenny King or Mia Yim.
I agree.
Honor No More. That would be Ed Edwards,
Yeah.
and OGK defeated Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and Heath. I believe Ed Edwards actually pinned the champ.
Oh, so are they? Gar Monroe says they're gut check winners.
All right.
That's Impact's like the talent search thing.
Yeah. Jordan Grace defeated Max the Impaler.
I love Max the Impaler.
And then the main event saw Steve Macklin win Barbed Wire Massacre.
Yeah. We called that, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one. We got a Raw tonight.
We do. There's a lot of actually announced in advance.
I wrote 15 weeks in advance. I'm booked all the way through WrestleMania.
Wow, good job, Paul.
My magnum opus.
Well done, Paul.
This is only year one, though. Imagine how complex these storylines are going to be.
I'm looking forward to it.
Enforcer sent me his script. And I ripped it up. I threw it in the garbage.
Have to come back to
it's
that.
trash. I'm gonna let you in a secret, Larson. Nobody knows this. He's trash.
I mean, I think it's well known that you're not.
I think he knows that.
Yeah, I think everybody knows. Paul, you're not a fan of the Enforcer.
Right.
No secret there.
Yeah, I don't know why he hired him to book Raw.
I don't know.
Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens form the Dream Team, Panda Express. To take on Alpha Academy.
Matt Riddle enters the Dark Void as he takes on Damian Priest.
Come into the Dark Void. It smells in here. I'd say don't go into the Dark Void for a good 15, 20 minutes.
One thing the Dark Void does not smell like is donuts.
I forgot to light a candle in the Dark Void. It's stinky.
There's no matches in here.
No matches. I burned my thumb using the lighter. AJ Styles to battle honorary Uce Sami Zayn following a heated exchange over social media.
This is how we book feuds now.
It's all through social media, TikTok.
They cut heated TikToks on each
Instagram. Bianca Belair set to go one-on-one with Io Sky. That should be fantastic.
Ooh.
Man, these are all matches they announced.
I know, man. Look at
Wow.
This is a wrestling show, and we're gonna have wrestling in it.
Rey Mysterio squares off with Story. Holy shit! Rey Mysterio versus Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
They're all gonna get like 20 minutes in these matches too.
I know. That's about half of Raw right there.
Multiple commercial breaks.
Check this out. Hour 1, Riddle versus Priest.
That's the entire
full hour.
He's in the Dark Void.
It's a Dark Void match.
Dark Void match.
It's like Fight Pit, but it's just all dark inside.
I got a bunch of black lights.
There we go.
So everybody wearing white's gonna glow.
You use those lights instead of shadows being dark, they're light.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I saw this. It was on Mythbusters. It was great. Not to be confused with Trustbusters. I put feelers out to the Trustbusters. They didn't get back to me.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're going to be answering questions on our standard QA video over at Friendo Club TV. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks, Larson, for stopping on by. It's good to see you. Maybe another 3 months when your internet goes out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll just wait next time.
Dude, the pub table, I still have it. I'll put it up right there.
Sure.
Fridays, we get McGriddles.
I can't have McGrills every Friday.
How about the Egg White Delight every Friday?
No, I can't eat eggs anymore.
Oh, my goodness, guys. We'll figure something out. On Fridays will be a fun day. You'll come over here. We'll have fun together.
Oh, looks like my internet's back.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.